Hey, it's Sarah with Loaves and Dishes, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make this super simple and delicious corn dip. Before we get into today's video, be sure to subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon so that you'll be notified when we upload. So this corn dip is super easy. You just need a couple ingredients, and this is 16 ounces of sour cream. And then 1.5 cups of mayonnaise. And the good thing about this dip is you can kind of eyeball it just a little bit. 2 cans of green chilies, the chopped green chilies, the little small cans. I think they're it's not 12 ounces, I don't think. I don't know what the ounce is. 2 cans of Southwest style corn. This is just corn that has green and red bell peppers chopped up in it. And then 2 cups of cheddar cheese. And 2 cups is about 1 bag. Like if you get a small bag, that's about 2 cups. And you can't have too much cheese, so I just dump the whole bag in. And I'm using a bowl that's too small, so I had to be really careful when I was mixing this up so that I didn't make a mess, because I had just wiped the counters off and I didn't want to have to wipe them off again. I ended up having to clean them up again. But make sure you use the right size bowl. This makes a lot of dip, and you want to use a big bowl. But my big bowl was in the dishwasher, so I had to use the next biggest bowl, and it just wasn't big enough. So I'm just mixing that up, and now I'm going to cut up some green onions. I just cut the tops off because they're kind of ugly. And you want to use about 6 green onions. I just sort of eyeballed it. This is about 1/2 cup of green onions. And with that, you can kind of add as much or as little as you like. Like if you don't want any onion at all, you don't really have to add that. Now I'm adding jalapenos. Now I have gloves on, and this is because when I was in high school, for some reason, for Spanish class, my Spanish teacher wanted us to make salsa, and each kid was responsible for an ingredient, and somehow I got to be responsible for the jalapenos. And so I cut up the jalapenos the night before, put them in a Ziploc bag. I didn't use gloves when I cut up the jalapenos, and they made my fingers burn, like my fingernails burned for 24 hours. I don't know what it was. I also accidentally touched my eye, and I got jalapeno in my eye, and that was very unpleasant. It was not a good time for me. And ever since then, I've been terrified of cutting up jalapenos. And I thought about leaving it out of this recipe, but it's kind of an important part. But I remembered that I had these gloves in the cabinet, so I put some gloves on. I'm terrified of cutting up peppers. I don't like it. So that's the story about that. This is why I have gloves on. But my little trick for getting the seeds and the pith out is to just use a spoon. I just cut the tops off. I cut them in half, and I'm using a spoon just to scrape the insides out. It's really easy. You could also use a knife if you wanted to, but using a spoon is just really easy, I think. But you don't really want to get any of the white or the seeds in your dip, because the seeds are really bitter and they hold a lot of heat. So if you want it real spicy, sure, leave the seeds. But if you don't want the bitterness and you don't want the extra spice, leave them out. And it can kind of be like hit or miss with jalapenos. Like sometimes they're really spicy, sometimes they're not. It really just depends on the jalapeno itself, which I find terrifying. Like if I want something spicy and I'm going to add a jalapeno, I want it to be spicy. But, oh gosh, Goose is outside barking at everybody. So I'm just dicing up these jalapenos pretty small. And I mean, it's up to you. You could add more jalapenos. You could add less jalapenos. You don't have to put any in at all if you don't want. I would recommend cutting them up small, just so that it mixes in well, because it's a lot of dip and you don't want a big chunk of jalapeno in one bite and none in the next. So I'm sure you guys are watching this video and thinking, wow, this is really dramatic to wear gloves for jalapenos. But I'm telling you, even if my fingers hadn't burned, like it was like around my fingernails. It burned. But the one time I touched my eye, no, never again. Scarred for life. So you just put those in, and then you're going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. You could add other seasonings too. Like if you wanted it spicy, but you didn't want the jalapenos, you could add cayenne pepper or hot sauce or sriracha or whatever you wanted to add to it. And you could add some garlic powder and onion powder as well to this. It's a really simple but really delicious dip. I think you're also supposed to add bacon. I'm sitting here thinking this would be really good with bacon, and I bet it has bacon in it, and I completely missed the bacon. Wow. Way to go, me. But it would be really good with bacon. But that's it. You just scoop it up on some chips. It's ready to eat. And blurry. If you want to see more videos or recipes, be sure to check out Loads of Dishes, and thanks for watching.